Welcome to the smart world around us, discussions organized by Smart-EDU Hub. Today, we're taking a fascinating deep dive into an article. It's titled, Factors Influencing the Success of Participatory Government Applications in Romania and South Korea. And just so you know, you can find a link to the full article right in the description below. It's great work by Greg Porambescu, Katelyn Vrabi, Jiho An, and Tobin Im. So let's get into it. We're talking about how governments use tech to connect better with citizens, right? Offering services online, asking for input.
Exactly. And what's really interesting here, what the article highlights, is this kind of built-in tension.
Tension? How so?
Well, you've got the government's internal drive, often for efficiency, maybe cost saving. But then externally, there's this push from citizens, from society, for more transparency, more participation.
Okay, so those don't always align perfectly.
Not always. And this deep dive really explores how the specific situation in a country, its politics, its economy shapes whether these e-government projects actually, work out.
So our mission today is to figure out what really makes these things succeed or fail, using Romania and South Korea as our examples.
That's the plan. And they make for a really compelling comparison.
Why is that? What makes them good case studies?
Well, they actually started from quite similar places in some ways. Both had relatively recent democratic transitions, strong presidential systems.
Okay.
And they both had histories of, let's say, state-centric political cultures. Think about the Communist Party's legacy in Romania affecting civic life, or traditional Confucian ideas in South Korea, potentially leading to a more obedient citizenry historically.
So less civic engagement compared to maybe Western countries.
Generally, yeah. That was the historical context.
But, and here's the twist, I guess, their results with e-government were totally different.
Dramatically different. And the key divergence really seems to be in their economic power and their ICT infrastructure.
ICT, information and communication technology.
Right. South Korea's economy is just much, much larger. So they could invest way more in technology and things like broadband access for citizens, which is, well, pretty essential.
And Romania didn't have that capacity.
No, they were dealing with much more underdeveloped infrastructure at the time, a real constraint.
And wasn't there something else going on politically in Romania? Something unique?
Yes, definitely. Romania was actively trying to join the European Union. And that brought this whole external political dimension. EU officials were really pushing for quick adoption of participatory e-government.
So pressure from the outside.
A kind of pressure South Korea didn't really face in the same way.
Okay, let's look at Romania's project then, e-governor, aimed for simplicity, transparency, but it's generally seen as a failure. What went wrong?
Well, Dana Popescu, who knew the project well, pointed out a huge technical problem.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the front end and back end systems properly integrated.
Front end being what the citizen sees, back end, the government machinery.
Exactly. So citizens might get these digital certificates, these online IDs, but the different government departments couldn't actually, use them effectively because their internal systems weren't set up to talk to each other.
So you had the key, but it didn't unlock all the doors.
Pretty much. And that, combined with just the basic lack of good infrastructure, something Sandor also noted, really stemmed from those economic limitations we talked about.
An ambitious plan hitting a wall of practical reality.
Right. And Zahan and Kostic also noted that this political pressure, likely from the EU push, maybe led to a rush.
Implementing too fast.
Yeah, without properly checking if the foundations were there or having a solid long-term strategy. This led to lots of changes in laws and rules, which just made everything unstable.
Okay, so that's Romania. Now, contrast that with South Korea's G4C project. That one's held up as a big success. What was their secret sauce?
Long-term planning. That seems to be a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And a phased strategic rollout.
So not rushed.
Definitely not. They started preparing way in advance. And they viewed it less as just a reform and more as a critical investment for the country's competitiveness.
Interesting framing.
It is. And technically, they focused on getting the basics right first, building robust ICT infrastructure, making sure those back-end systems could work together before they launched everything to the public.
Build the foundations first. Makes sense.
Precisely. And the political side was different too.
How so?
The ministry in charge, the Ministry of Public Administration and Security, they seem to have had consistent support and, crucially, less outside interference.
So stability.
Yes, the kind of stability you need for these big long-term projects. Very different from the Romanian situation with shifting priorities and external pressures. So the big takeaway, the aha, moment from the study really seems to be that political and economic factors are just fundamental.
More important than, say, social factors, at least initially.
Yeah, especially for getting these things off the ground and making them last. You absolutely need the political will and the economic resources.
So just wanting participation isn't enough. You need a solid plan and the means to execute it.
Absolutely. And how you frame the benefits matters too.
What do you mean?
South Korea focused on clear, tangible goals, like government competitiveness. That helped keep things consistent.
Whereas Romania's goals were
A bit broader, maybe more ambiguous. Things like happier citizens or meeting EU requirements. Noble goals, sure, but they perhaps open the door more easily to debate, to changes in direction.
That's a subtle but important point.
It really is.
So this all leaves us, and you listening, with a really interesting question, doesn't it?
Which is?
When governments are trying to build these participatory systems, how do they balance that desire for, quick democratic progress with the very real practical need for step-by-step long-term investment in things like infrastructure and careful planning?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There's no easy answer.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive, exploring the work of Greg Porembescu, Kaseling Vrebe, Jiho An, and Togan M on e-government success.
We really hope this gave you some valuable insights, maybe a few aha moments, into the complex world of building the smart world around us.
And remember, you can dig deeper yourself. The link to the full article is right there in the description below. Please do like and subscribe to the Smart-EDU Hub channel so you don't miss our next deep dive. Until then, keep exploring.